Incomes getting worse with this latest round of data. Personal spending increasing. A little disparity there. I thought we learned that lesson already. Now you've heard all the theory that opposites attract, but what about when it comes to spending habits? A recent study by professors at Northwestern University and Penn's Wharton School of Business finds that big spenders tend to marry big savers. Joining us is the lead author of the study, Scott Rick, who's now a marketing professor at the University of Michigan's Stephen Ross School of Business, and Dr. Nancy Irwin, a cognitive behavioral therapist in Los Angeles. Both new faces to CNBC. My wife happens to be a cognitive behavioral therapist, so I will start with the doctor and ask her, it sounds like big saver, big spender would ultimately lead to a lot of arguments about money.
You would think. Actually, opposites do tend to attract, and I think men and women are perfect proof of that. But what's so exciting about this study is that it shows both these extreme polar opposites are trying to seek balance and find a place in the continuum in the middle.
I'm not. I just want to save every dime I ever get.
Let me guess, are you married to a spender?
My wife is not a spender, not a big spender, no. But I'm cheap. I'm cheap. Professor Rick, what do you make of this study?
Well, just to recap our major findings, so it's not big spenders and big savers per se. A tightwad is someone who spends conservatively but wishes they could spend more. They feel that they're underindulging. The spendthrifts have just the opposite problem. They feel like they're overindulging. And indeed, these sort of conflicted consumers tend to attract to one another. And as sort of alluded to earlier, this leads to arguments over money, and this in turn diminishes marital satisfaction.
So, I mean, now
so
we're
what's
going into
next?
another...
Study the divorce rate?
Yeah, I mean...
We do not have divorce data yet, although that's something we're sort of very eager to look at. We've only surveyed married people.
All right, so what does this tend to be broken down by gender? I mean, in terms of who's the spender and who's the saver? I personally am a very intense saver. I know that obviously some people might make jokes about women being spenders. That might offend a lot of women, but you know, how does it break down, men versus women?
There's not that big of a gender difference in terms of tightwadism or spendthriftiness.
Nice save, Professor. Nice save.
It does tend to be environmentally biased more than gender biased, I might say.
What does that mean, environmentally?
Well, we tend to, as a general rule, we tend to model the behavior of our same sex, our same gender parent. By that same token, we tend to attract a mate with the traits of the opposite gender parent. That is an environmental influence, and it's extremely powerful, much more so than a gender bias.
So how can companies take advantage of this? I mean, how can you identify who's going to be a spender, who's a saver? Well, I guess really you want to know who's the spender, right?
Yes, and healthy couples will acknowledge what their patterns have been, not make the other one wrong, and then find a place again to get into the middle of that continuum of fiscal responsibility. So it's practical, so you honor both.
All right, Professor Scott Rick and Dr. Nancy Irwin, thank you both very much.